So today welcome to the news, by the way. Stay to the end to find out how we get there. Today we're talking about SBA loan stacking. Oh yeah, right. I like to drift off into random tangents on a pretty consistent basis. Oh yeah. So let's try this one out. SBA loan stacking. It's the concept for just having multiple SBA loans to be able to try to buy businesses, because there's a lot of businesses out there, but it's not necessarily just about just taking out loans in a random basis. It's more so about trying to conceptualize the potential of acquiring more assets at a better, higher, more functional rate than just a credit card loan, for example, because in essence we've got credit card loans at high limit business credit, 0% interest, high limit business credit opportunities, and so nonetheless, this is something that is unique and interesting to be able to try to procure for yourself one day, one way or another, and being able to try to functionalize using SBA loans is something just in terms of a theoretical, generalized sense to be able to try to make happen to optimize getting the most credit in the shortest amount of time with good rates, because good rates are happening right now. During the silver tsunami, more businesses are coming available, and also at the same time there is the potential to optimize through being able to, like, more or less to not just get a loan, or because the silver tsunami makes it so that 95% of businesses don't sell. Because of the silver tsunami, a lot of businesses are coming on the market, and as a result, this is causing the ability to develop a brand new direction to get funding. So in addition, we also wanted to talk about sales and how sales is similar to sales is similar to therapy. So sales is similar to therapy, and as a result, we're shifting gears and talking about how sales is similar to therapy. So I tried to make a new website recently, which is about basically it's what Dinky T Change for Games is trying to aspire to in terms of developing connection to the greater marketplace and having the ability to try to more or less bring more value to the marketplace. And we have something called a wheel, which is it's just an arrangement of varying services that are connected to the brand. But nonetheless, this is where we're trying to evaluate how to bring value and also have fulfillment services at the back end. So we've got to we wanted to offer also one of the items as sales as therapy. So so coaching salespeople in essence as therapy, because in essence sales and therapy, they kind of go hand in hand to a certain extent, because after all, you're really just trying to guide people to change their lives for the better. So that's the most unique avenue in terms of viewing sales, if you will. So it's just kind of the most precious way to look at sales, in my opinion, at the same time. If you lean back and get rid of all your inhibitions and just get comfortable at work, get a beanbag at work, get some slippers, some comfy-toed slippers, and just kind of vibe into your desk to get ready to try to get more intimate with people as you try to develop sales with them and get them products that are attempting to actually add value and change their lives. And that's like therapy to a certain extent, because there's certain people that want to step forward and contribute and connect with products that are being sold. And so we're sort of trying to develop a sales school for a sales mentality for salespeople to align with their best self, as well as trying to help the best self of other people to be able to come out. And that in essence entails therapy in many instances, because a lot of the blockages that are stopping people from doing things are very personalized instances that are not necessarily easy to talk about, but you have to talk about them with people, and it's getting them to guide themselves to another place of edification, of a new ground, to be able to unearth a new process, a new flow for themselves, to be able to get a better product in their hands that can change their lives to a certain degree, is something that requires therapy, because there's an element of money behind it. Money is something that reflects on emotion, and so having just a fully functional ability to be super empathetic with people is like a therapy session where you just kind of dive in and get comfortable and just really just vibe with the nature of getting to the end, whatever it takes, being there for people and just trying to optimize that concept and that process of going around the ring to be able to just vibe with people if you can in the best way possible to try to eventually get there, to get people value and just get people like the service that they need, after all, by being someone who provides for people and just being extremely helpful and extremely useful in terms of like developing a full circle of appreciative experiences for people, where you have appreciation as much as they have appreciation. You develop friendships, after all, just in proxy, because the essence of therapy is something that's beyond the scope of how people typically look at sales. And so this is like, sales therapy coaching, or sales mindset, or therapy mindset coaching to salespeople. Like, so therapy for therapists, if you will, therapy for therapists. Like, that's, I guess, one of the offerings from Dinky T Change for Games, Dinky Tech Change for Games Studios, because in essence it's like therapy for salespeople who are therapists. So it's just kind of like an offering through our website, which we're going to try to add to Sandwich List. What is it? sandwichitems.weebly.com, which is a temporary website, I hope. And so we'll try to evolve that into something more functionalized. But really just trying to be there for people is really like something that causes a lot of time, effort, consideration, and so therefore it's like you have to, I would say, like people and definitely like the product and believe in the product, because you're really trying to change people's lives by causing conversions, by causing like significant impact in an impactful situation, an impactful outcome, an impactful endeavor that you're going through alongside them. And so it's like a mission, it's like a journey, it's like an adventure that you're trying to tell other people, because that's the way it feels to spend money sometimes, that you're there for them in this mission, in this adventure, and you also are participating in it with them, in and alongside them. And it sort of is exciting at the same time for you to have this mindset and this concept and conceptualization to be able to illuminate this ability to go through this process and trying your best, because obviously if you're in a mission with somebody, you're in it together, you're trying to like really be on the cusp of having the most functional and best outcome process together. Just like, for example, if you're a river guide to people and you're riding down a river together, you're really focused on their experience and their best optimization of a best possible outcome to get positive reviews on like Google, and to also just potentially try to read into and feed into the best conceivable outcomes for people's senses. And so therefore that is one of the little offerings of a sales therapist therapy. So therapy for sales therapists, if you will, and as coaching, like sales therapy coaching, if you will. So that's just a little side note, concept addition. And at the same time, one like little last tidbit is the idea that in business there are, in essence, what I call circles. Connect with people. Like in terms of any business, there's a lot of clients. You're trying to chase a lot of clients, and I think of all these businesses, all these people that connect with businesses as like accounts, like accounts in a bank, for example, accounts in a bank. So all these accounts have different ambitions, different missions, which is similar to the sales mindset that I was just talking about, the sales therapy mindset in essence. So everybody's got a mindset, everybody's got emotions, everybody's got problems, everyone's got issues. So it's kind of like a really significant interest to be able to focus on going back to the SBA loans and the Silver Tsunami and acquiring many businesses, having the conceptualization of parsing out your existence in life to acquire a portfolio of many businesses that touch many people's lives in many directions is a symbol of many circles that are coming in and going out, and like lines of ants, for example, being a symbol for every single business. So realistically, having the mindset, because sometimes, like for example, I try to consider doing things a little bit faster with a mindset of like, if I was doing something for someone else and they needed me, then I would have to like rush and go faster at what I'm doing now by being less self-centered and focused on other things and other aspects of people and problems. And if you consider every single circle, every single customer a problem, an actual problem, it really amplifies the significance and the gratitude of business in of itself, because if every circle represents a problem, one account in the bank that you own, and then you own multiple banks, multiple different brands of multiple banks too, which is indicative of like a portfolio in general, like of different businesses that are cash flowing, and there are many people going in and out of all of those, that every single person is like a representation of a circle, and those circles all have problems, and you're trying to feed into all those problems. So that's what I meant by trying to hurry at what I'm doing, to think about other people and go into the mindset of other encounters and sort of issues, and also understanding that every customer of every business in essence is a representation of a problem. And so just, if someone was standing next to you and they they tripped, for example, like you would just jump to be able to try to help them and take yourself out of your situation to help them. And it's the same thing like with the business mindset, but acknowledging the essence of trying to help many people in this fashion corresponds to like trying to help this one person times like maybe 100, times maybe 1,000, times maybe ideally 100,000 if you have a really big portfolio of big businesses like Berkshire Hathaway or things of this nature, or other companies that have a portfolio of different businesses. It's like you're trying to jump and help thousands upon thousands, and ideally millions of people who fell, and you're trying to help them get up. So that mindset is something to just grasp onto, hold on to, in the essence of conceptualizing, going from the micro of one salesperson into the macro, connecting SBA loans, the reason for money in general, like all the way down to micro, where you're selling to one person and you're having that interest to be able to help them, one person who fell down, and you're trying to help them get up in essence, which corresponds to one sale, which corresponds to solving one problem. Every circle corresponds to a problem, corresponds to a customer having a problem, experiencing a problem, and that the middle of the circle is like is a symbol for a vacuum of like of demand, in essence, of demand for seeking sort of somewhat of a resolution. And that's all for now. Hopefully there's alignment among those three pieces, and sort of trying to connect from the micro to the macro. And it's very overwhelming to sit in the driver's seat of the shoes of that many people, if you're trying to serve that many people and trying to conceptualize that many people that fell down at one time, in a theoretical parallel sense, in terms of just a mindset concept of if that many people so just that's a really significant concept, to try to visualize all that energy of problem energy that you're actually trying to solve at once with a significant portfolio is a significant undertaking in of itself, in terms of a personal conceptual undertaking to serve that many people, and looking at it in that transposition from micro to macro, in terms of that parallel is just, it's really something, in terms of a wave of silver tsunami, that's like a really significant energy transposition. So that's just the mindset attempt to draw that out, if you will, in this little podcast episode. And that's all for now. Thanks again, Dinky T, change for. And let's all remember to push for world peace every single day. Let's all remember to push for world peace every single day. Let's push for world peace every single day. And also, let's remember to try to clear the animal shelters. Let's clear all the animal shelters in the world. Let's clear all the animal shelters in the world, because we can foster all the shelter animals. We can adopt all the shelter animals in the world. We can rescue all the shelter animals in the world. And we can also hire the shelter animals as healers. We can also hire the shelter animals as healers all throughout the world, so that they don't have to be mistreated in animal shelters. And we can clear the animal shelters, and we can hire the shelter animals as healers throughout our communities. Hire the shelter animals as healers throughout our communities, because they also work for free, and they could use better purpose and use better jobs and be able to add value and be therapeutic energy for humans and humanity, to help us be more harmonious as humans and among humanity, for all the animals in the world, to clear all the animal shelters, to try to get them to transition their energy in terms of therapeutic energy to all humans, so we can clear the animal shelters to add value to humanity in terms of harmony, if possible. And let's push for world peace every single day, and clear the animal shelters every day. That's all for now. Thanks again, Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios. Bye. Peace. Bye.